teenager accused of stabbing another student athlete at a track meet told officers as he was being taken into custody that he did it in self-defense.
Austin Metcalf was killed this week at that Frisco track meet. New documents detail what happened before and after 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony allegedly pulled a knife from his backpack and stabbed him. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now live with the latest. Alex.
Hey guys, and in that 7-page arrest warrant affidavit, several witnesses, including Metcalf's twin brother, describe how that deadly encounter went down. The suspect then reportedly admitted to a Frisco police officer who detained him that he had stabbed Metcalf.
My son is gone, and I don't really have words. I've tried to figure out what I was going to say, but he's just going to be so missed.
The pain is still raw for the Metcalf family after 17-year-old Austin Metcalf was killed on Wednesday morning at a UIL District 11-5A track meet in Frisco.
That dude was extremely smart, always in the box. He just came to him real easy, and just him playing with football as well just made him just a great person overall.
Here's what happened according to witnesses and the police report. Metcalf got into an argument with the suspect, 17-year-old Carmelo Anthony, over a seating dispute in the bleachers. Metcalf told Anthony he needed to move from under the team's tent.
He always was one to step up and be the person that would do the right thing. And he was doing the right thing by saying to this gentleman that you're not supposed to be in this tent. This is because they have personal items there.
Anthony opened his bag and reached inside and said to Metcalf, "Touch me and see what happens." Metcalf reportedly grabbed Anthony and told him to move.
He knew he wasn't supposed to be there. He was just a tragedy what happened.
That's when Anthony pulled out a black knife and stabbed Metcalf in the chest once before running away. When Anthony was taken into custody by a Frisco police officer, Anthony reportedly confessed to the crime, saying, "He put his hands on me. I told him not to," adding that, "I was protecting myself," and then asked the police officer, "Is he going to be okay?" Metcalf died in his brother's arms.
I'm not at that point to forgive and forget, but eventually I will. But I pray for his family. I pray that they understand what we're going through as well.
This whole community has really wrapped their arms around us, and if I could say anything to the nation, I would say to make sure that you just hug your babies tight, because you don't know when the last time you get to do it.
And in a statement released by the Metcalf family this afternoon, they say their focus is now on laying Austin to rest. Meanwhile, I can tell you that Anthony remains in the Collin County Jail with a $1 million bond. Back to you.
All right, Alex Boyer in Dallas tonight. Alex, thank you. A North Texas man says he thought he was going to die when he looked down to see his wounds after he'd been stabbed and carjacked. The attack happened in the parking lot of a Fort Worth restaurant over the weekend. The victim says he was actually trying to help the suspect out when that person attacked him. Fox 4's David Santandri spoke with the victim and joins us live. David.
Yeah, Steve, that 28-year-old victim says he was trying to buy food for that person who was asking him for money. But instead, that person reportedly turned on him with a knife and started swiping nearly a dozen times.
Clearly, he doesn't make the best decisions.
While waiting on a to-go order at Waffle House off West Rendon Crowley Road in South Fort Worth overnight Saturday, Jackson Oltmans says someone knocked on his car window asking for money.
And he told me he was just trying to get some food.
Oltmans decided to order the man food.
I opened my car, I was going to go get him some food, and literally the second I opened my door to step out, he just starts stabbing me.
Fort Worth Police Department says Quindarius Cartwright is the man who cut Oltmans in the face and chest. Photos of the bloody gash are too graphic to broadcast.
Genuinely thought I was going to die. It was so much blood. Walked in Waffle House. They were freaking out. I mean, I'm sure it's probably a traumatic thing for anyone to watch.
Video of Oltmans' recovery shows his swollen face and stitches.
Most of the stab wounds to the body weren't really too bad. It was just when he stabbed me in the face that was it was really bad.
On top of injuries, Cartwright reportedly stole Oltmans' car and joyroded it to a strip club in North Fort Worth. Cartwright was arrested nearby.
He definitely hit something pretty good, and it's messed up the wheel.
Altman's recently purchased his 2024 Toyota Camry. The 28-year-old works several jobs, including DoorDash, a job he was doing the night he was stabbed by someone he was trying to help.
I can't tell you how many times I've been asked for money or whatever by homeless people or just, people out in the streets. And, typically good nature is just to want to do a good deed for them. But I mean, I learned that night, man, you got to be very careful about, who you're willing to help out, because sometimes they will take advantage of that good nature.
Cartwright is charged with aggravated robbery. Bond is set at $150,000 being held over at the Tarrant County Jail. Steve, back to you.
A fire official from a Fort Worth suburb is accused of getting another man to carry out a sexual assault.
Fort Worth police say Tobias Griffiths assaulted the victim and Joel Jones asked him to do it. Officials in the city of Everman confirm an official was arrested, but they are not naming him. However, online records and social media show Jones is the deputy fire chief in the department. Fox 4's Amelia Jones is live with a look at what we know so far. Amelia?
Heather, Steve, today we reached out to every official and city leader we could think of to ask about this case. Those who responded said they're not sharing many details due to the sensitivity of the crime, but they did say that the allegations are deeply concerning and they take them very seriously. Fort Worth police arrested 2 men on charges of aggravated sexual assault over an alleged assault in February. Police say the victim didn't know her attacker, but was able to get a partial license plate, which led police to the suspect's vehicle. Police shared that during the investigation, detectives learned of a second suspect who got the suspect to commit the assault. On Wednesday, Fort Worth police arrested 53-year-old Joel Jones. According to online records, Jones works for the Everman Fire Department. While Everman officials acknowledged a fire employee was arrested, they refused to disclose his name. Jones is charged with aggravated sexual assault and aggravated kidnapping, sexual abuse. The next day, Fort Worth police arrested 30-year-old Tobias Griffiths, the man police say committed the actual assault. He's charged with aggravated sexual assault. Records show Jones lives in the same Fort Worth neighborhood where the crime allegedly happened. Late Monday, a neighbor shared Ring doorbell footage with Fox 4, apparently showing Jones and an unidentified woman warning neighbors about an assault that happened at his house just a couple weeks after the attack. The Everman fire chief sent Fox 4 a statement that says in part, quote, "The nature of the allegations and charges are deeply concerning. We want to assure the public that we take matters such as this extremely seriously." The fire chief also shared that the employee has been placed on administrative leave, pending an independent internal investigation. Jones's defense attorney sent us a statement that says, quote, "This case is very early in the investigation stage. I am attempting to verify all of the facts right now." Fort Worth police are not releasing many records due to the sensitive nature of the case, but warrants show police have seized computers, thumb drives, and other digital evidence as part of the investigation. Today, I spoke with the Everman fire chief on the phone, and he emphasized that the alleged allegations are not related to his employees' capacity with the department, and the department remains committed to serving the community of Everman. Griffiths has since bonded out of jail. Jones remains at the Tarrant County Jail. His bond was set at $300,000.
The man accused of stabbing a 63-year-old woman at an Arlington apartment complex is now charged with murder. Authorities identified Irma Aziz as the victim in the attack. Her accused killer was out on bond for another violent crime when he allegedly stabbed her to death. Her loved ones are remembering her as a woman who was fiercely dedicated to her family and her faith. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke to the woman's daughter and joins us now live from Arlington. Peyton.
Heather, and the 63-year-old's family tells me she was a pillar of the community, loved her family, and heavily involved in her church in Grand Prairie. The victim got home late Monday evening because she was helping someone move. The victim's family told me that's exactly what she does, help people. A carefree moment captured on camera. 63-year-old Irma Adiemo Aziz dancing in the front row at a church celebration.
She's a community mama. She is the leader She was the leader of our food pantry at our church. She was a woman of God.
Kashana Allen with her sisters by her side, remembering their mother. Adiemo Aziz, also a grandmother and a great-grandmother. The family all together Sunday inside this sanctuary in Grand Prairie.
She was a phenomenal lady, and her life meant everything to us.
Adiemo Aziz was found unresponsive in the breezeway outside her Arlington apartment late Monday evening. The medical examiner confirmed Wednesday she was stabbed to death. Also Wednesday, the 63-year-old's vehicle was released by Arlington police after it was taken into evidence.
Because it was left running.
Right. That's how quick it happened.
That's how quick she drove up and she was getting out of the car.
Investigators believe the attack was random. 23-year-old Jacob Arriaga Guerrero is now charged with murder. Guerrero wearing an ankle monitor at the time, placing him at the scene of the crime. The ankle monitor also sent an alert that it was being tampered with.
I hate to say it, but the system failed my mom. The system failed my mom.
Guerrero had only been out of jail for a few days. Recently let out on a $75,000 bond on a list of charges including aggravated robbery and evading arrest out of Crowley, south of Fort Worth. Now the 23-year-old is back in custody, charged with murder. 2 different mugshots from the Tarrant County Jail in 10 days.
And to be amongst the general population is a systemic flaw, and it failed my mother. And my mom had to pay a price for it that she did not deserve.
Adding to the long list of charges, when Guerrero was arrested on Tuesday by Arlington police say he caused a hit and run at an intersection in a stolen SUV, injuring a pedestrian and their dog. Right now, Guerrero remains in the Tarrant County Jail. He has no bond.
A school resource officer and staff members at a Fort Worth ISD high school likely stopped potentially a deadly situation. They spotted a group of young people who didn't go to their school in a vehicle with weapons. Fox 4's David Centendry spoke with Fort Worth police tonight about what happened. David.
Yeah, Steve, we don't know what those young people were up to when they showed up to that school with stolen guns, but it was during school hours.
We don't know what could have happened, but we know what we prevented from happening.
Fort Worth Police Department talking about a group of young people arrested after pulling up to a high school with Glock handguns Wednesday afternoon.
Both of these handguns were stolen.
It was at Diamond Hill Jarvis High School during school hours when a school resource officer and 2 staff members were patrolling the area on the lookout for a group of non-students seen trespassing the previous day.
They were doing preventative patrol, looking for students that don't belong on campus, and that's exactly what they came across.
They reportedly spotted them returning in a vehicle and stopped it. 4 people inside.
They immediately see them ducking and trying to hide stuff, start pulling individuals out of the car to talk to them, and as they pull the first individual out, they notice a handgun that gentleman was sitting on.
20-year-old Ryder Martinez charged with felony unlawful carrying of a weapon in prohibited places.
We don't know what he was doing there with a handgun. We don't know why he is on campus, does not have permission to be on campus.
The SRO and staff then focused on the other 3 occupants.
One of them actually got out of the car and fled the scene.
The other 2 taken into custody, both juveniles. One reportedly with a stolen Glock handgun and extended magazine clip tucked into a pant leg. Fort Worth ISD sent Fox 4 a letter it sent to parents, reading in part, "Our campus was briefly placed on lockdown due to police activity near the school." The letter did not mention why there was police activity or explain that there were guns recovered. It's still unclear what the group was doing on campus.
You know, you don't want to hear it, but maybe do something dangerous at the school. But I can tell you it didn't happen because of the hard work behind these officers and this team.
It's unclear what connections, if any, those juveniles might have to that high school. They have been taken to a juvenile detention center, according to Fort Worth Police Department. That 20-year-old who was arrested is a former student, according to the department, not supposed to be on campus. As for Fort Worth ISD, it has not provided us any sort of statement other than that somewhat vague letter that it sent out to parents.
A North Texas family believes the murder of their loved one in Deep Ellum was a case of mistaken identity.
Jonathan Santos was shot and killed Sunday night, and family members say they don't have any answers. Fox 4's Alex Boyer joining us now with the latest. Alex.
Hey guys, you know, and I checked with Dallas police. They got back to me a short time ago and tell me there is no updates to this case, adding that it is still very much an ongoing investigation. I spoke to the victim's family at their home in Mesquite, and as you mentioned, they do believe that his death was a case of mistaken identity.
This is Jonathan right here. These are all some flowers that people have brought him.
A countertop inside the Santos family home has been transformed into an altar of sorts. Flowers and a Bible surround pictures of Jonathan Santos, memorializing the years of his short life.
You would never see Jonathan sad or mad. He was such a good person, had so many friends.
Jasmine Munoz is Santos's cousin. Sunday night, she got a phone call saying the 21-year-old had been fatally shot while out with his friends in the Deep Ellum Entertainment District of Dallas.
What we know is that there was a fight at the club that was taken outside.
According to witnesses, Santos was with several others at a nearby club. A disturbance broke out between Santos's group and another group. Both groups were thrown out of the club. The disturbance continued outside, where one person pulled a gun and shot Santos and ran off. His cousin doesn't believe he was the intended target.
One of the persons that was in the fight was wearing similar clothes to my cousin. That person ran, but they confused my cousin for him. They ran after him, shot him in the back. When he was still on the ground, they went up to him and shot him again without no remorse and just walked away like nothing.
Santos worked as a skilled carpenter. His devastated parents are now tasked with planning his funeral.
They have cameras in the house, and they just have the last picture of when he walked out and never returned. It's something that's an unimaginable pain for all of us.
Munoz says the family wants answers.
And I just want to call out to the person that did this, to anybody that has information. Please help us, you know, through this pain. Knowing that we get justice for John will really help us. And that's all we want at this moment.
Yeah, and detectives, I can tell you, are reviewing lots of videos that were posted on social media right after the incident. They have not released a suspect description. If you have any information, of course, you are asked to contact the Dallas Police Department.
A man arrested 2 years ago for a shooting that killed one woman and injured 4 others is no longer being charged with the murder.
Court records show prosecutors didn't think the evidence was strong enough and have dropped the charges. The news devastating for the family of the woman who died. They spoke with Fox 4's David Centendry today. David.
Yeah, Steve and Heather, there's no indication that the victim was the target of this shooting, more so wrong place at the wrong time. Now it's back to the drawing board for investigators who are trying to solve this case.
How y'all go from having evidence to not?
Family of Shania Jones frustrated with Dallas Police Department after the man charged in her murder had his case suddenly dismissed last week.
I believe they dropped the ball because they had a lot of good leads. Even I went up there and gave them leads, videos, conversation.
July 16th, 2023, Jones was killed, 4 others injured. A drive-by shooting at an overnight block party near Fair Park. A month after the shooting, 23-year-old LaQuest Searles charged with murder. Searles was indicted by a grand jury, but now prosecutors filed a successful motion to dismiss the case. It's rare, according to attorney and former prosecutor Russell Wilson.
Usually when a case is indicted, if it's contested, it usually proceeds to trial.
Wilson is not connected to this case. We sent him court documents. He says what stands out from publicly available evidence is there was not a specific eyewitness to identify Searles. Detectives mostly based the arrest warrant off Searles fitting the description of someone abandoning the suspect vehicle at a later time. Connections to gang members seen on video in the vehicle at a McDonald's drive-thru prior to the shooting, and most importantly, Searles' cell phone data pinging at the shooting scene and areas the vehicle was driven.
And so the state was relying primarily on technology, and while that information could be helpful, there are limitations.
The motion to dismiss reads, the cell phone that would put the defendant at the scene was used by multiple people, and we cannot determine that the defendant was the user of the cell phone during the offense. Additionally, with the video that exists, the driver and occupants of the vehicle are not discernible at the time of the shooting.
He claims that he left his phone in the car that other assailants drove the night of my daughter's murder.
According to court records, there were multiple shooters that night. Dallas Police Department is refusing to comment on the dismissal or if it has additional suspects, only saying the investigation is ongoing. Searles has not been ruled out to have had some sort of involvement. When Searles' murder charge was dismissed last week, he pleaded guilty to a probation violation stemming from an aggravated robbery in 2020 and was sentenced to 5 years in prison.
Somebody gonna get caught and they gonna tell it.
Jones's family members still heartbroken for her 2 children, a 2-year-old girl and 4-year-old boy.
I basically told him she's in heaven and she's always looking down on him, and she loved him.
Records show Searles is still being held here at the Dallas County Jail, so he has not yet been transferred to any sort of prison for that probation violation. Again, a 5-year sentence. Of course, anyone with any information on that murder is asked to contact Dallas Police Department. For now, Steve and Heather, back to y'all.
All right.
The FBI joined Garland police investigating how a suitcase full of homemade explosives ended up near a park. Good evening, I'm Steve Eager.
I'm Heather Hayes. Those explosives were found yesterday, but police are back at Wynn Park today. So far, no suspects or reason why they were there. Fox 4's Stephen Dial live with an update. Stephen.
Investigators cleared the scene about an hour ago. The park is back open to the public. They did tell us that these were live explosives that could have gone off. They did not tell us how many explosive devices, and they also don't have any suspect description. Garland police got a call about a suspicious package near a walking trail at a park Sunday morning just before noon.
But there were numerous explosives that we actually located inside and around the actual suitcase. It's about 100 yards from the walking trail into the actual park.
Police say there was an open suitcase with items scattered around it. The pipe bombs were among those items. Police say none of the bombs exploded.
It went all the way through the day as well as early into the morning this morning before every single device was actually evaluated and rendered safe.
Investigators were back out Monday to canvass for any other devices, along with any video that might show who left the suitcase. They don't have a description of that person yet or a solid timeline on when the suitcase was left on the trail.
We're utilizing an actual ATF explosive dog to assist us in searching for any other explosive devices. And this dog assists in that identification to if there is something that ties to an actual explosive device that does not belong in that area, that dog will alert to that.
Now, this park is not in a secluded area. It's near a Quick Trip and a car wash and some other busy intersections. So investigators, of course, are looking at videos to see if they can try to track who left that suitcase. I did ask the PIO, did the person who called 911, did they stay on the scene? He said they did, and they are cooperating with this investigation. So still no suspect description at this time.
Dallas firefighters say a man set his apartment on fire, did it on purpose, and then threw himself out the window. 51-year-old Zerick Jones charged with arson. Cell phone video shows smoke billowing from an apartment building near Love Field. Firefighters, you see him there on the roof trying to get things under control. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager spoke with people who live there, and she joins us now. Peyton.
Hi, Heather. Yeah, people who live there are displaced from their own apartments this evening, and the entire complex is still out of power this evening. At least 8 units were damaged in total. Witnesses at the complex tell me the suspect, Zerick Jones, was being disruptive all Sunday morning and throwing burning items out of his window. Flames shooting out of a Dallas apartment put children in danger on Sunday.
Was all the way up to their windowsill, and there's babies that live in that bedroom.
Daniel Mavero worried about a family living below 51-year-old Zerick Jones. Dallas Fire Rescue says Jones intentionally set his second-story apartment on fire near Harry Hines and Mockingbird Lane. It says firefighters were called out at noon and quickly extinguished the blaze. It says fire damage was limited to one apartment, but there was water and smoke damage to several other apartments. According to an arrest warrant affidavit, witnesses claimed Jones had been throwing lit items out of his apartment all night.
Threw a burnt mattress out.
Jones eventually jumped from a window in his apartment, sustaining serious injuries. Mavero says he stopped Jones before he could run off. Police say building security detained him.
I commanded him to get on his knees, got down on one knee, and that was enough. And he didn't move.
Jones was taken to a hospital and then booked into the Dallas County Jail, now charged with first-degree felony arson.
The smoke was coming this way, this way, could have burnt this whole part.
And late this evening, Steve and Heather, Dallas Fire Rescue confirms to me that they responded to this apartment complex 3 times Sunday morning, first at 1:30 a.m., then at 10:30 a.m., and then at noon when that arrest was made. Now, arson investigators tried to interview Jones when he was at the hospital, but he was not cooperative, so the motive for this is still unknown. He's here tonight at the Dallas County Jail.
Yes, Brandon, police have not identified the suspect they say is responsible for the deadly shooting, but they do say this all started after a fight in a nightclub escalated. Now, police here say a little before 10 p.m., 2 groups got in a fight inside a club here near Crowdus and Elm Streets and were kicked out. The nightclub fight continued outside. A man pulled a gun out and fired, leaving a man critically injured. He later died at a hospital, and the shooter ran off. Investigators are reviewing surveillance video and interviewing witnesses to figure out how exactly this deadly fight happened. The Deep Ellum District has been in the spotlight for another recent crime. An Oklahoma woman was attacked on March 22nd while celebrating her bachelorette party in the nightlife hotspot. Bedford police say 27-year-old Trayvon Woodards knocked the bride unconscious outside a club, leaving her with a broken nose and broken teeth. Her bridesmaid was also hurt. Now, on Friday, police announced they arrested Woodards for that aggravated assault. Records show he has a lengthy criminal history but was recently granted parole. Now, police left the scene this morning, but we will keep you updated when they release more information about the suspect they're looking for. Reporting live in Dallas, Peyton May for Good Day.